Hi. So I just went to post the video from this morning and it only recorded 27 seconds. I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to try to do it this time and hopefully it gets the whole thing. We're going to redo it. It was such a fun class that I don't want anyone to miss it. So we're going to shake things up. February always feels like kind of a stale, stagnant month for me. So we're going to approach this differently today. We're doing some intervals. So we'll do some interval work and then stretch afterwards. So we'll really get some cardio, heart pumping work done. And then the stretching will feel really good because we'll be so warm. I've got 2 blocks handy here to bring the floor closer, and that will be nice if you have blocks, or you could have a chair ready. We're going, the kind of intervals we're doing are called tabata intervals, and it's 20 seconds of work with 3 seconds of rest for 8 rounds. And each of those 8 rounds we'll just switch off through 2 different movements. And anyway, we'll just get a little bit of a warm-up stretch happening, and then we will do that hard work, and then we will stretch to cool down, and it'll feel great. We'll start standing, so just come to the top of your mat and just close your eyes and kind of get into your breath. You can rock around on your feet. Just notice the responsiveness of your core here. And what happens as you shift your weight from side to side. And rock forward and back on your feet. You can have your eyes open or closed. And then find some softness in your knees. Bend just a little bit. You can bring your hands to your thighs and just stir your knees in circles. So kind of loading and shifting the weight on those ankle joints, on all the different little joints and bones of your feet, and also circling through the capacity of your knees with just a little bit of different load. And then let your legs come straight and just brace yourself on your thighs, lengthen your spine, and then slowly let yourself fold. And you can round here with your knees as bent as you need to be so that you're feeling this in the back of your legs and not in your lower back too much. Sway from side to side a little bit. And then inhale and come up halfway. Find cactus arms. And then exhale to fold. Inhale and exhale. So inhale to that flat back with your arms in a cactus shape. Draw your shoulder blades together. And then exhale to fold. Step your left foot back into a lunge. And bring that left knee down and find some circles here of your hips or some sway from side to side. And just let your pelvis move. Walk your hands back and come on up. Find your upright lunge. Grab a hold of your left forearm with your right hand and find a side bend over to your right. Big open twist. Come upright. Just drop your hands and then untuck your back toes if they're tucked. Find some stability in that left shin. Float your right heel and then toes off the floor. Find your balance and slowly bring that shin to meet your right shin. Hands to the floor and just find some circles here. And play with the load on your hands in all different directions. And then pause. Lift your right leg up and back. And we'll find some hip cars here. So bend through that right knee and then bring your right knee straight out to the right, up toward your armpit, into your heart, and then heel to the ceiling. Just 2 times in this direction. Try to keep your pelvis still and your spine still. And then switch. Knee to your heart, knee out towards your armpit, out to the side, and then lead with your heel. One more, around. And then lengthen through that right leg. Cross it over your left. Tuck those right toes and just look over your left shoulder at that right heel. Really push your right ribs out to the right. And then you can bend through that right knee. Just bring it toward the floor so you've got crossed legs. Push your hips back towards your heels. And keep your right hand where it is. Maybe even creep it a little bit further away. Get a nice side stretch through that right side body. Come back up. And then lift that right leg and bring it straight out to the right. You've got it straight out. And then inhale your right arm up into a twist. Internally rotate that elbow. Your shoulder. Bend your elbow and bring the back of your right hand to your left outer hip. And then swim it up and around. Thread it through and reach past your left knee. So just find those big arm circles. Just swimming your arm around and reaching into that twist, a closed twist and an open twist. And then swim back around. Lift that right leg and bring it back. Push yourself up and back to a downward facing dog. And just pedal it out. Come onto your tippy toes. Bend your knees. Make your way to the top of your mat. And then that cactus halfway lift. Find your halfway lift. And then exhale to fold. And then halfway lift. Exhale to fold. One more time there. Halfway lift. Really engage that back body. Exhale to fold. And now right foot back into your lunge. Bring your right knee down. And you can find some circles there of your hips. Sway from side to side. And then come on up. Reach high. Grab a hold of your right forearm with your left hand. Lengthen and then side bend over to your left. And come upright. Untuck those back toes. If they're tucked, really push down into that right shin. Float your left foot off the floor and slowly bring it to your standing kneel and come down into your table. Do any wrist prep that would feel good. You can do some palm raises. Switch the direction of your fingers. Just kind of play with your hands in a few different directions there. Maybe backs of the hands to the floor, palms face up. And then we'll find those hip cars with the other leg. So bend through that left leg, lengthen it back, and then straight out to the side. Just moving in your hip joint, knee to chest, and then heel to the ceiling. Out to the side, knee to chest, and heel to the ceiling. And then switch. And go around there. Lengthen that left leg, cross it over your right. Look over that right shoulder. Really push your left ribs to the left. And then bend through your left knee and push your hips back toward your heels. Lengthen through your left arm. Rock back forward. Lift that left leg. Bring it straight out to the left. And then peel your left arm up into your big twist. Bend your elbow, internally rotate that shoulder. Bring the back of your hand to your lower back. And then swim it around and through. And then thread it past your right knee. And just find those big reaches. And flossing through that shoulder. in all different ways. And do one more reach up and back. And then swim it around. Lengthen through that left leg. Tuck your toes, come up into your downward facing dog. And just breathe there. Come onto your tippy toes. Bend your knees. Make your way to the top of your mat. And find those cactus halfway lifts again. And fold. Just 3. Inhale and exhale. Last time, inhale and exhale, and then push into your heels. Roll yourself up to standing. So draw your sitting bones down first, and then stack your vertebrae. Head comes up last. And we'll set up for our intervals. So have your blocks handy. Our first 2 movements, I'll kind of show you them, and then I'll start the timer, and we'll do 20 seconds on and 10 seconds off. So the first movement is a side angle pose. Side angle, and then a reverse. Staying committed to the bend in that front knee, and we're just side angle and reverse, or you can make it more challenging on your core with both arms. And then we'll do a little jiva squat. So I've got my hands on blocks. You'll lift one leg and then bend both knees and tap your left knee to your right calf, and then lengthen back up. Okay. And then we'll switch sides. Okay. So those are our first 2 movements. We'll just be doing a set of those intervals for about 4 minutes. 20 seconds of work and 10 seconds of rest. So set yourself up, get yourself ready for your warrior 2. My timer is going to count us down. And find your side angle, and then your reverse. And just go back and forth. Now connect with your breath. Let yourself feel really strong in that right outer hip. And then feel equal weight between both of your feet. Okay. And now we'll switch. So find your blocks. Got a couple of seconds. Find your standing split. Now bend both knees. You'll tap your left knee to your right calf and then push into that right heel to lengthen through that right leg. And just bend and straighten. And bend and straighten. And just keep working for a couple more seconds. And now we'll switch sides. So you've got your 10 seconds of rest to set up. We'll do warrior 2 to the other side. And find your side angle. And then reverse. So ground through that left heel. Engage through that left glute. And reach down through that right heel. All right. Come on up. And we'll do the other side. So ground into that left hand. Bring your hands to your blocks or the floor. Lift your right leg. Bend both knees. Tap your right knee to your left calf. And then push up. And just back and forth here. Really pushing into that left heel so you're feeling that strength in that left hip. All right. Release that. Set up for your warrior 2 on the other side, on the right side. You might try this time with arms high. Just moving from that center. And a little more load on this lever. Let yourself feel stable and fluid. All right. Set up for your squats. Right foot down. Lift that left leg. And then bend your right knee, left knee taps. Really push and then lengthen. And push and lengthen. Enjoy that right hip. All right, and left side again. So set up for your warrior two. Reach your arms high. And then forward and back. And just come to where you can control it and stay stable through your legs, but not rigid. All right, come on out of that. Left foot grounded. Hands to your blocks or the floor. Right leg lifts. Bend both knees, tap your right knee, and then push to lengthen. And really push into that left heel. As you tap and then lengthen. Tap and lengthen. Lengthen. And then release. Okay, so now we're moving to our second set, and I'll show you the movements for that one. So you have options. We'll play with a squat. You can just do air squats with your feet a comfortable distance apart and just squatting. Or you could play with some frog hops and come down into a low squat. Plant your hands down and push yourself forward and back. The second movement will be tricep dips. So I'm going to use my blocks and a reverse table and just bend elbows and push up and back. If that's too much for your wrists, you can just find some tricep kickbacks. So you just figure out what works for you for that tricep work. Okay, and we're getting ready in just a couple seconds for our squats. So decide if you're just going to do air squats for the whole time, or if you want to play with silly frog jumps. And this is good core work to prepare for handstand. All right, rest for 10 seconds. Set yourself up for your tricep work. So either grab your blocks, or you can do it standing and just bend your elbows and lower. You can do this on the edge of a chair if you don't have blocks, or just right on the floor. All right. Move your blocks out of the way. Get ready for your squats. And you can just do some air squats or play with your jumps. If you're doing your jumps, really think of lifting from your belly as you push into your hands. All right. Get ready for your table, your reverse table, tricep dips, and push to bend and straighten those elbows. All right. Move your blocks out of the way. Another round of squats or frog jumps. And just play there. Go back and forth on your mat, or you can move all around your room. Okay, set up for your tricep work. And go. Bend your elbows and then push them straight. And draw your shoulder blades toward each other. All right. Our last time through each of these. So get ready for your squats, air squats or frog jumps. And really connect with your breath. And just let it be comfortable. All right, last time. We've got our tricep dips. Just bend and straighten those elbows. All right. You can shake your wrists out. Got our minute of rest before we get ready for our other set. So I'll show you the movements. We've got our block. We're going to come down to this crouching stance. So my left knee is by my right ankle. Push and come on up into half moon. So that's our first move. There. And then our second move is a skater. So you can jump it, make it really big. You can just step and tap. You can come low and touch the floor. Right, so you can choose how challenging you make that. And those are the two movements we'll do on this side, or this last set. So get yourself ready. And find your little crouch. So left knee by right ankle, and then push into that right heel to come up into your half moon. You kind of are a little ball, and then come on up. And then rest. And we'll do our skater. So big step, and then cross behind. So you can jump it or walk it. You can stay low, stay high. You just decide what feels more supportive for your breath. And then we'll pause and do the other side. So find your block the other way. Tuck those right toes, find your little crouch, and then push into that left heel, open into your half moon. Crouch, and then half moon. Now you could use the higher setting on your block. You could use a chair. All right, get ready for your skaters. And just reach. And reach. And you can go as fast, as low, or as high, as jumpy as you want to be. Get ready for those crouches with the right foot forward. Tuck those left toes and crouch down and then reach. Now you can make it more challenging by just floating your right hand instead of having it grounded on a block. Rest for 10 seconds. And get ready for your skaters. Jump or step. As fast or as slow as you want. You don't have to match my pace. You can go faster or you can go slower. Okay. Last time with our crouch to half moon. With your left foot grounded, find that little crouch, and then open. And you can try the challenge of floating those left fingers. All right. Get ready for our very last 20 seconds of work. So enjoy your last skaters. Maybe make them faster and bigger than your others. Just 3 more seconds. And we're done. So take a deep breath and step your feet wide. And just bring your hands to your hips and sway them side to side. I'm sweaty. It's the second time I've done that today. And hopefully this recording is working. And then soften your knees and just come forward halfway. Embrace your hands on your thighs. But really think of sending your inner groin back. So you can lift all 10 of your toes and lift up through your arches as you ground into your heels. Big toe ball mound, pinky toe ball mound. And then lead with your heart and fold. And let your hands come to the floor. It may feel good to widen your heels away from each other a little more. And think of pushing your inner thighs back, spreading through your sitting bones. And then find length from your tailbone all the way through the crown of your head. And let your heart feel open even as you're folding forward. Feel your big toe ball mound, pinky toe ball mound, center of your heel, really grounded into the floor. Lift up through your arches of your feet, and then send your pubic bone back toward the wall behind you. Maybe walk your hands in line with your feet. You can rock some weight into the balls of your feet. Maybe your head comes a little closer to the floor. Lengthen the front of your body. So think of that line from your pubic bone to your sternum and make that line a little longer. And then bend into your knees. Walk your hands forward. You can come up halfway onto your fingertips. And then just toe heel your feet closer to each other. Bend into your knees. And we'll come down to a seat. Bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees go wide. And you can hold on to your ankles and then lengthen. So think of sending your pubic bone back and making that space from your pubic bone to your tailbone parallel with the floor. And then drop those front low ribs down. Lengthen up through the crown of your head. And if your tailbone's really tucking underneath you, sit on the edge of a folded blanket. Energetically use your leg muscles to pull your knees toward the floor. And then lengthen through your heart. Lead with your heart and let yourself fold forward. Maybe walk your hands forward. Or you can keep your hands on your feet or your ankles and use your elbows and your inner thighs. Think of that long line and the tipping in your pelvis. So you've got a line from your tailbone up through the crown of your head. And a long line from your pubic bone up through your heart. So find length on the front body and back body. And then go ahead and come on up. Prop your hands behind you. Bring your left foot to the floor, and then just cross your right ankle over your left knee. And have your hands back far enough. You can draw your shoulder blades together and have some integrity in your spine. And the closer you walk your hands in towards your hips, the more intense it'll be in your right hip. Stay active through that right foot. And just breathe. And then take your left heel, just kind of draw it over by your right hip and bring your right foot to the floor. Wrap your left forearm around that right knee. You can hold on to your right hand your left hand with your right hand, but really resist your left knee, right knee into your left forearm, and draw that right outer hip toward the floor. Eva, can you go in my room and get my charger for my computer so it doesn't die while I'm doing this? Run, please. Look over your back shoulder. And then release the effort of pushing your knee into your forearm and your forearm into your knee. Just ground your right hand behind you and maybe deepen your twist. Look over your right shoulder. And then over your left shoulder. You can find some nods of your chin to really explore what feels good and interesting in your neck. And then unwind your head, unwind your torso, and then take this right leg out to the right. Take your right hand around that left knee, ground your left hand behind you, and find a twist to your left while I plug in my charger. And then just release that your left hand, and reach it up and over. And find a side bend here. And then you can release your right hand inside of that right leg or maybe forearm to the floor. But use some leverage of this right arm into your right leg to twist your heart open. And then you can rotate your heart down and frame your leg with your hands. Maybe reach for your outer right foot with your left hand or outer left leg. Lengthen. And then come on up. Bend through that right knee. Bring the soles of your feet together again. And find yourself high on your sitting bones. You can rock a little bit from side to side. Draw those knees to the floor as you lengthen up through the crown of your head. And then lead with your heart to fold. You can walk your hands forward, or you can keep a hold of your feet. And then think of that length from your tailbone up your whole spine, all the way up the back of your head. Lengthen that, and really point your tailbone toward the wall behind you. And then lengthen the line from your pubic bone up through your sternum. And breathe here. And then come on up. Bring your hands outside of your knees. You'll ground through your right foot and just bring your left foot over that right ankle and just prop yourself up with your hands behind you. Again, really thinking about the integrity of your spine. You can be on fists or fingertips or hands flat. The closer your hands are and the more upright your spine is, the closer that right foot is to your bum, the more intense it'll be in that left hip. But flex through that left foot in a way that's not really rigid, like you have space to breathe. You're not clenching anything, but you have some activity happening. And then drop that left foot over to the right. You can bring your right heel by that your left bum. Wrap your right forearm around your left knee and twist to your left. And then push your knee into your forearm and pull your forearm into your knee and let that lengthen your spine and drop your left hip toward the floor. So here I'm not so interested in the twist as I am this outer hip. Let's take another breath there. And then you can release your left hand. Root your fingertips behind you. Maybe bring your right elbow outside of that left knee and find some leverage into your twist. Look over your left shoulder. And then turn and look over your front shoulder, your right shoulder. And find some nods of your chin. It just feels kind of interesting. Floss through everything on that left side of your neck. And then unwind your head. Unwind your torso. Take your left leg out to the left. And that right foot comes in towards your pubic bone. Left hand outside your right knee and just let yourself twist to the right. And then sweep your right arm up and over. And you can kind of hold on with some grip onto that right arm, onto your left arm on your right knee as you reach here. And then release your left arm inside that left leg. And use some leverage of your left leg into your left arm to twist your heart open. And then rotate heart toward your shin. You can maybe even reach your right hand outside that left calf or foot. And just fold. Go ahead and come on up. Lengthen both of your legs. And really free your tailbone out from underneath you. If you find it tucking under you, sit on the edge of a folded blanket. so that you can lift your sitting bones up and think of that space from your pubic bone to your tailbone parallel with the floor. And then we'll fold forward. You can have your knees bent a little if you need to, but knees and toes are both pointing straight up. And find some traction, like push your hands into your hip creases, push and ground down there, and then lengthen that front line from your pubic bone up through your heart as you reach your heart forward to fold. And then you can kind of traction and push into those hip creases as you reach again. And then you can release your arms wherever they want to go. If you have your block handy, it could feel good to come and put a block underneath your forehead as you just let yourself fold here and hang out at any height, or stacked hands or fists. And pay attention to your breathing. Let's inhale to a count of 4, and then we'll exhale to 6 or 8. So take a breath in, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can stay with that rhythm, or find maybe even a count of 8 as you exhale. And keep thinking of the length of that front line of your body. Let go of any gripping that's not helping you. Relax your face. And really use the length of your exhale to settle into the length that you can create. Let's take one more breath here. And then come on up. Just walk your hands in. Bring your hands behind your knees and just bring your knees in. And we'll make our way down to our backs slowly. So find your feet at a comfortable distance in front of you and just hold on to the backs of your thighs. Tip your tailbone underneath you. Bring your sacrum to the floor. And then try one vertebrae at a time to lower down. And if you notice, some parts just really want to go in one batch. I noticed that with my lower back. See if you can just back out and lower down in that place a couple of times to really see if you can just get yourself to roll one vertebrae at a time. And then let yourself come all the way down. Set yourself up for a bridge so you have some options. If you want it to be active, you can come up. If you want it to be more restorative, you can have your block and put it underneath your sacrum. Draw your shoulder blades together, push into your heels, lift your hips up, and then pause. You could bring your block under your sacrum, the lowest height or the medium height, and pause there. Or you can wiggle shoulder blades closer to each other and interlace your fingers underneath you. And keep your gaze straight up at the ceiling. Tailbone points the same direction as your knees. Really lengthen through the fronts of your hips. Just stretch that whole front line. There's space underneath your neck. And then release your hands or move your block. Come on down. And then hug your knees into your chest. You can rock a little from side to side. And then keep a hold of that right knee, lengthen your left leg. And then use your left hand to steer that right knee over to your left. Reach your right arm out to the right. And then come back through center. Hug both knees. And just switch. Hold on to that left leg, lengthen your right. Use your right hand to draw your left knee over to the right. And keep your left shoulder grounded so your left knee doesn't need to come to the floor. And just breathe there. And then unwind both knees into your chest. Any last movements that would feel good? Maybe reach arms overhead, legs up toward the ceiling. Maybe bend and reach for your outer feet and find happy baby pose. And make your way all the way to your back for your final rest. Bring your palms to your eyes and just close out all the light. And take a big breath in through your nose. Let it out with a big sigh through your mouth. And then let your breath come easily in and out of your nose. You can release your arms. And just stay here for a few breaths. Minutes, if you can. Really let your body kind of absorb and recalibrate. This is a practice where we really got our heart rates up. We created some intentional stress. And then we use the power of our breath and our attention to find some expansion and space, to really settle ourselves down. It's so helpful for us to have control over that variability, and to be able to rev it up and to calm it down. Feel free to stay here for as long as you have time. You can bend your knees, roll to one side, push yourself up to a seat. I hope that was fun for you. The divine light in me honors the divine light in you. Namaste. Have a wonderful day.